Welcome back. The first day of summer starts tomorrow, but let's face it, my friends, we are already feeling the warmer weather here in Southeast Louisiana. Am I right? Now, of course, there are some common summer health issues we need to be aware of, but we also need to make sure we are still informed about COVID 19. Luckily, back on the show this morning is friend to the show, Dr. Jeremy Wigington. He is the medical director for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Louisiana, and he is here to share some summer safety tips this morning. Hello, doctor.
Hey, good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, I can't believe it. We started doing our virtual chats in spring, and now the first day of summer is tomorrow. I cannot believe it. We have been doing this for a whole season, essentially. And of course, with summer here, a lot more people are going to be doing outdoor activities. But what does that mean as far as COVID-19 precautions?
Right. Well, some things are starting to reopen and people are starting to think about getting out for the summer. But don't forget that COVID-19 hasn't disappeared. So, really want to think about continuing to wear your mask. Very important. Again, not only protecting yourself, but protecting others from exposure to that virus. And also making sure that you're practicing social distancing, particularly when you go to places that may have reopened and there are other people around, keeping that distance from others. Many businesses are helping customers to perform social distancing. So they have guidelines and they have spacing in place, but just don't forget that you got to keep wearing that mask and social distancing.
Very important tips right there. Another great thing is that a lot of workplaces are finally reopening, which I am glad to see. You all have created a website with some helpful tips for people who are going back in the workplace. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. We have put together basically a toolkit for employers that may answer many of those common questions like how do we safely reopen our business? It is bcbsla.com workplace return. And the CDC has some recommendations for employers how to get their employees back to work safely. There are a lot of variations within industries. So if you work in an industry where there aren't very many employees within a small space, the guidelines may be different than if you work in um, an office setting where there are lots of people. So make sure to check with your employer on the guidelines that you have for your business if you are returning to the physical workplace and not working remotely.
And the website is great. You even have some print out flyers that you can put around the workplace to remind people on some precautions to take. Great website. And again, it's free. It is super awesome. Now, COVID 19, we all know it's still alive and well, but summer starts tomorrow. Like I said at the top, what are some common summer health issues we need to make sure we take a look at?
Of course, as we're getting back out there, don't forget we're in Louisiana summer. And so, number one is to keep an eye on the sun and the heat. So, wearing sunscreen, wearing sunglasses to make sure you're protecting your eyes. We don't want to forget about that exposure to the sun that can cause a sunburn and ultimately increase our risk for things like skin cancers. Avoiding those mosquito bites. We have a lot of mosquitoes in the South. Checking your home to make sure you don't have standing water, especially if you're over the age of 60, 65, making sure you're staying very hydrated. But really, that's important for everyone to stay very hydrated during the summer. And if you have kids, making sure you're keeping an eye on those around the water, making sure you're practicing water safety.
Very important tips there as well. Another thing we were talking about before this actual segment is that some people may have forgot about their appointments that they made, whether it was like a colonoscopy or something. We need to make sure we still follow up on that if we canceled, right?
Right. If you had some sort of doctor's appointment scheduled during the closure from the epidemic, making sure you're following back up with your regular doctor. If you had, say, an annual physical scheduled, or you had other those types of preventative screening scheduled, like colonoscopy or an eye exam, making sure you're getting back on track, talking to your regular doctor, making sure you get those rescheduled. If you have children or your adolescents, even college age, if they missed vaccines during this time, making sure you're getting in touch with a regular doctor so they can get caught up on those vaccines.
It's not just the young kids, the college kids too. Great tip there. Now, of course, we're going through a pandemic right now. The first day of summer starts tomorrow, but we're also in the middle of hurricane season. What is some medical advice you have as far as Louisiana going through this upcoming hurricane season?
Right, we've already had some activity this hurricane season, and we want to make sure we're staying prepared. That is the biggest tip. keeping a list of your medical conditions and your medications on hand physically is a really great idea. And also keeping up with all of your family's health information, writing it down, keeping it in a physical location. And don't forget that telehealth is out there. So if you do have to say evacuate or you are displaced during hurricane season, keeping that list and making sure you know about telehealth and keeping yourself informed. And if your regular doctor offers telehealth services, making sure you're getting signed up for telehealth. And don't forget about Blue Cross's Blue Care telehealth service is available as well.
It's really cool. If you don't know what telehealth is, it's like this, what me and Dr. Jeremy are doing right now. We're having a doctor's appointment, telling everything we need, whether it's a checkup and all that great stuff. And also, I see you all have digital ID cards, because let's face it, if in the event of a hurricane, we might forget our medical card, right? But you all have digital ones too, right?
That's right. We do have the ability to access your ID card uh, in a digital format, say on your smartphone, or you can get access to it on your computer. You could also go online and print one out if you don't have a physical card. So there are many ways to access your health insurance information and keeping it on hand.
Genius tips there. Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And hey, if you want more great seasonal health information, you can log on to bcbsla.com/summer.